Eddie Hearn, reports are that, again, that Andy Ruiz has agreed to the terms for a fight rematch with Anthony Joshua in Saudi Arabia. And you know how I do. I will say, with all things Eddie Hearn related, I'll believe it when I see it. And let's talk about that and the specifics of this rumor in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel, subscribers. If you are not subscribed, please subscribe and hit the bell icon. Also, want to thank everybody for the support on the Patreon and the super chats, the Cash App on the live streams that we do Monday through Friday, and OG Boxing Talk on Sunday. This video is dedicated to Scrapbook Boxing, best boxing historian that I've run across. Check out his YouTube channel. Great work. Scrapbook Boxing. You love it. If you're a real boxing lover of boxing history. Did I say that right? You get my point. All right. So, will this be a third time as a charm for Mike Coppinger and The Athletic, who have been reporting that a deal has been agreed to by Andy Ruiz and Anthony Joshua for their rematch for the last several weeks. But yet every time they say it, something happens and it winds up not being the case. So here we are, weeks later, and there's still no official announcement of the fight taking place between Andy Ruiz and Anthony Joshua. There was another report put out yesterday where they said that they are now in agreement. They now have agreed and to Andy Ruiz getting more money than was originally promised, originally set aside for the rematch. I've heard different numbers come out. The original rematch was supposed to be either for $8 million or $9 million. But now it's going to be either 1 million more or several million more. But, this is reasonable because these are sources close to the matter. The source, let me break everybody down here. The source is Eddie Hearn, okay? If it ain't Eddie Hearn, it's Eddie Hearn's brother. Coffee in the morning. We do these videos early in the morning. Yeah, if it ain't Eddie Hearn, it's Eddie Hearn's brother, sister, mother, cousin, something. Eddie Hearn keeps leaking this stuff out, and they keep on reporting it. First by Dan Rayfield, that I saw was Dan Rayfield from ESPN. And, the infamous Dan Rayfield of Dillian White and Luis Ortiz are fighting next. Yeah, you can't trust nothing coming up out of Eddie Hearn, sources around Eddie Hearn, man. But one interesting thing that I did hear in this rumor was that not only was there more money, but there is supposed to be Andy Ruiz would own the rights, the television rights in Mexico, which could be a lot of money. I don't know how much money. I have no way to gauge that, but that seems like if you get the television rights for a country and it's a fight for the first Mexican heavyweight, that, hey, man, it might actually be worth a good amount of money if they put that on television and then you have the commercials and all that good stuff. Andy Ruiz could come out like a fat cat. He already out like a fat cat because he made that, I don't know, or 6-7 million in the first fight. And now, he's coming out making this we know that he's going to make a lot in the second fight. But I would like to say, let's treat this as if it's true for a second. And I'm treating it like it's true. It may be, it may not be. Part of the article said that they were waiting, that Al Heyman and his manager are waiting on the paperwork from Eddie Hearn to make sure that it says what it is that they agreed to in principle. So that reminds me of a lot of the conversations that were taking place or the rumors around what was going on with Deontay Wilder, Shelley Finkel, Anthony Joshua, and Eddie Hearn, where Deontay Wilder was just waiting on some paperwork to come back from Eddie Hearn. And they found that there were some things that they had asked for that weren't in the contract, so they had to send it back, right? And then eventually Anthony Joshua goes off and fights Alexander Povetkin. If that's the case here, I would expect that everything would be in the contract because Eddie Hearn is out there swinging in the wind like ain't nobody's business. Absolutely swinging in the wind. But if that is the case, if it's the case and they sign it, hey man, good for everybody, man. Whatever's clever at this point. I don't understand why why Anthony Joshua wants this rematch with Andy Ruiz so quickly. I don't care if it's in Cardiff. It could be in Wembley. It could be in New York, LA, Vegas, anywhere, Mexico, Saudi. I can't believe that I'm actually saying Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia. Usually that would be something you just say if you're trying to make something up that's ridiculous that wouldn't possibly happen. Saudi Arabia. Anyway, but in the midst of this, though, this is something else that makes me wonder whether or not this is true or not. Well, it makes me wonder. I wonder whether it's true or not because I haven't heard anything from Andy Ruiz still. I went to his Twitter right before I made this video. He said that they were working on the details to get the fight done. That was back on the 15th. It is now the 23rd, so that's 8 days ago. Actually, haven't seen anything from Andy Ruiz saying that the fight, that they've agreed and, everything's good to go. So that's where we were before. If Andy Ruiz doesn't say it, then, hey, man, who knows? Who knows? Eventually, though, I do believe the fight's going to get done. But look at this. I do want to say I told you so, though. To the people because we're like 8 minutes into the video, 7 minutes into the video, I do want to say I told you so. The rematch clause was not rock solid. Andy Ruiz obviously has a choice. If it was rock solid and there was nowhere that the guys that Andy Ruiz could go with it, then why is Eddie Hearn, according to these rumors, offering him millions of more dollars to go through with the fight? If this is millions, if he had no choice, why would Eddie Hearn be giving, according to these rumors, why would Eddie Hearn give up the rights to the television rights, give up the television rights in Mexico to Andy Ruiz? Why would that be the case? It wouldn't be the case if Andy Ruiz had no choice. Obviously, Andy Ruiz has bargaining power. Obviously, he used that bargaining power to influence Eddie Hearn and make Eddie Hearn give him more concessions. One of the concessions also is supposed to be VADA testing. And because Saudi Arabia doesn't have any testing protocols. They don't have a boxing, according to from as far as I understand, they don't have a boxing commission. How are they going to oversee the drug testing for Anthony Joshua? Is there going to be a scenario like what took place with Dillian White, where Dillian White walks into the room after he has tested positive for performance-enhancing drugs? Everybody knows about it except for the guy that he walks into the ring with is covered up and or hushed up. The only way anybody found out about it was because it was leaked to Thomas Hauser, who put it on Boxing Scene. How are you going to cover for that? That's what I'm saying, man. Everything about Eddie Hearn, everything about this guy, it makes my skin crawl, man. This guy is so bad that he even has me I find myself siding with Bob Arum, of all people. Bob Arum. Eddie Hearn comes out after Bob Arum says that Andy Ruiz has Bob Arum has him by the balls is what he said. Eddie Hearn comes out with this ludicrous statement that you're just mad that you only sold 800 tickets to your last fight. 800 tickets. I love the round numbers and the exaggerations by Eddie Hearn, man. It just points out the cat is just a clown, man. And I just really wish the dude would go away. So anyway, we'll see what happens in this rematch. Whether this rematch actually happens in Saudi Arabia, like I said, I take everything that I hear coming out from sources around Eddie Hearn with a grain of salt when it comes to this Andy Ruiz stuff. But I don't doubt that the fight's going to get made, and it looks like it might be in Saudi Arabia. Let's see what happens. Let me know what you think in the comment section. With that, I'm out. Peace.